Features of the wave. Here we will see the speed of the wave. What is the wavelength of the wave? What is meant by the amplitude of the wave, frequency and wavefront? So let's start this one by one. First of all, here is the speed of wave. How you can define the speed of wave? You know the formula of the speed, that speed is equals to distance over time. We can define the speed of the wave in the same way, that it is the ratio of the distance traveled by the wave to the time taken to cover that distance is basically called as the speed. Again, the speed is represented by v. The wave speed is equals to distance over time, and the distance is represented by d, while the time is represented by t. So how you can define the speed of the wave? You can see here the definition of the speed of wave. It is the ratio of the distance travelled d to the time taken t for covering that distance is basically called as the speed of the wave. What is the unit for the speed of the wave? You know the unit of the speed because the distance is measured in meters and the time is measured in second. So meter per second is the unit for the speed. It means that the speed of wave is measured also in the same unit, which is meters per second, because meter is the SI unit of the distance and the second is the SI unit of the time. So meter per second is the SI unit of the speed of the wave. I can simply define that when you have to calculate the speed of the wave, just divide the distance with the time. You can also see here the distance is measured in meters and the time is measured in seconds. So the speed of the wave is measured in meters per second. What is meant by the wavelength? Wavelength is basically the distance between the adjacent particles on the wave that are at the same point during the vibration. You can see here in this figure. If I suppose the 2 points on the wave, first point is here and the second point is also on the same position on the wave. So I can simply say that the distance between both of these points is basically called as wavelength. Remember that these points should be on the same position on the wave. If I say that the first point is here and the second point is here, it is not equals to one wavelength, because both of these points are not on the same position on the wave. So I can simply say that the wavelength is the distance between the two adjacent particles that are at the same point during the vibration. Here I also mentioned the distance which is equals to the wavelength. If I consider that the first point is here at the bottom, the second point is also at the bottom to define the wavelength, because wavelength is the distance between the points that are on the same positions. So I can simply say that the distance between the two adjacent particles that are at the same position during the vibration is basically called as wavelength. The wave that I shown here is basically the transverse wave. So how you can define the wavelength in the transverse wave and how you can define the wavelength in the longitudinal wave? So first of all, remember that the transverse wave consists of two parts. One is the crest and the second is trough. Crest is the portion of the wave that is above the mean line. What is mean line? Mean line is basically this line that is at the rest. So the portion of the transverse wave that is above the mean line, it is called as crest. Means that this portion is basically called as crest that is above the mean line, while the portion of the wave that is below the mean line means that this portion is basically called as trough. So both of these, crest and trough, combine to give the transverse wave. How you can define the wavelength in the transverse wave? You can simply say here that the distance between two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs is basically called as wavelength. I write here the distance which is basically equals to wavelength. You can see here the first crest is here and the second crest is here. So the distance between both of these crusts is basically called as wavelength, that I label here the distance which is equals to wavelength. So the distance between any two consecutive crusts is basically called as wavelength. We can also define the wavelength for the trough. That if we consider the first trough is here and the second trough is here. So the distance between both of these troughs is also be called as wavelength, which is shown here. This is the wavelength for the transverse wave. But how you can define the wavelength of the longitudinal wave? Remember that the longitudinal wave also consists of two portions, which is the compression and rarefaction. At the compression, the particles are closer to each other, means that the distance between the particles is small, while at the rarefaction, the particles are far away from each other. The distance between the particles increases at the rarefaction. Again, as we defined the wavelength for the transverse wave, that it is the distance between two consecutive crusts or trough. We can also define the wavelength for the longitudinal wave in the same way, that it is the distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions. We also see the wavelength for the longitudinal wave and transverse wave next, where we will see about the longitudinal and transverse wave. First of all, here you can see what is meant by the wavelength and which distance is basically called as wavelength. The distance between two adjacent particles that are at the same point during their vibration is basically called as wavelength. For example, in the longitudinal wave, the wavelength is equals to the distance from one compression to the next one and from one rarefaction to the next rarefaction. Means that the distance between two consecutive compressions are rarefaction. Similarly, in the transverse wave, the wavelength is the distance from one crust to the next crust or one trough to the next trough. Wavelength is just like a distance, so it is measured in meters. I can simply say that the unit of the wavelength is the meter. What is the amplitude? How you can define the amplitude of the wave? So first of all, amplitude is the maximum vertical distance of the body from its mean position. If you see this figure, here you can see it's a transverse wave. Transverse wave consists of two portion crust and trough. So here I have to take the maximum displacement of the wave from the mean position. This is basically called as amplitude. But what is the displacement? Displacement is any vertical distance of the body from its mean position except of the maximum displacement. Means that if I find out this vertical distance or this vertical distance, all of these are basically called as the displacement. But the maximum displacement of the vibrating body from its mean position is basically called as amplitude. I also here label the distance which is equals to amplitude. It is the maximum displacement of the body from its mean line. Mean line is basically shown by the blue line, and the wave basically showing here, the wave is traveling, means that the particles are vibrating. So the maximum displacement of the particles from the mean position or the mean line is basically called as amplitude. You can see here the maximum displacement from the mean position of the vibrating body is called as amplitude. Amplitude as it's the displacement, and you know the unit of the displacement, it is meters. It means that the amplitude is also measured in meters. How you can demonstrate the amplitude for the longitudinal wave and for the transverse wave? Here I tell you the amplitude regarding to the transverse wave means that it's the maximum displacement of the vibrating body from its mean line. But how you can show the amplitude of the longitudinal wave? It is very difficult to show the amplitude of the longitudinal wave. You cannot demonstrate it. So the amplitude of the transverse wave is basically the height of the crust or trough. It is another definition of the amplitude for the transverse wave, that it is the height of the crust or trough. You can see here, it is very difficult to demonstrate the amplitude for the longitudinal wave, while the amplitude of the transverse wave is defined as the height of the crust or trough. Here is the examination tips. Don't confuse between the displacement and amplitude. Both of these are basically the different terms. If I make here a wave, then the distance of the vibrating body means that any distance is basically called as the displacement, while the maximum displacement is basically called as amplitude. This would be the amplitude, while the red lines showing the displacement. So I can simply say here that the displacement is any distance from the mean line, while the amplitude is the maximum displacement from the mean line. This is the difference in both of these. You can see here the displacement is any vertical distance from the mean line, but the amplitude is the maximum displacement from the mean line. Both of these are different from each other. Frequency. What is meant by the frequency? If I consider here a wave, I suppose that this wave is passing through a particular point in 1 second. How you can define the frequency? Frequency is basically the total number of waves that are passing through any particular point in 1 second. Here you just need to remember that when you have to count the total number of waves, you need to count in 1 second. When the time is 1 second, how many full waves are passing through the particular point, it is basically called as frequency. Here in this diagram you can see the total number of waves that are passing through this particular point in 1 second. The one complete wave consists of crest and trough. It means that the first wave ends at this point, and from this point the second wave starts and it ends here. So this wave consists of two waves. I can simply say that there are two total waves that are passing through the particular point in 1 second. The frequency of this wave is 2 Hz. I will tell you about the unit of the frequency. First of all, you just need to understand what is meant by the frequency. So in this way, the total number of waves that are passing through particular point in 1 second is called as frequency. In this diagram, only the two waves passing in 1 second. It means that the frequency is 2. You can see here the definition of the frequency. The total number of the full waves that travel through a particular point in 1 second is basically called its frequency. It is measured in hertz or per second. Basically, frequency and time period, both of these are reciprocal to each other. That's why I write here frequency is basically represented by the f, and frequency f is equals to 1 over t. The frequency is reciprocal of the time period. You know that the time period is measured in second, so the frequency is measured in per second. It is basically the SI unit of the frequency. There is another unit for the frequency which is hertz. So the frequency is measured in hertz as well as in per second. Both of these are the units for the frequency. For example, if the ends of the string travels up and down 2 times every second, then the frequency will be 2 seconds. Because here the wave is going up 2 times and then it's going down 2 times. Means that there are total 2 waves. So in this case, the frequency equals to 2 Hz. In this figure, you can see that there are total 3 waves that are passing in 1 second. Can you tell me the frequency of this wave? You just need to calculate the total number of waves that are passing through this point in 1 second. So there are total 3 waves that are passing here in 1 second. It means that the frequency equals to 3. The wave shown in the figure has the frequency equals to 3 because the total 3 waves are passing in 1 second. So the total number of waves that are passing through particular point in 1 second is basically called its frequency. Here is a simulation related to the wave. So let's open this. First of all, let's start with the water waves. Here the water waves are produced. At the bottom you can see there are two views, top view and the side view. You can see both of these, as well as here is the frequency at the top. The frequency you can change here by sliding it towards left or right, as well as you can also change here the amplitude by sliding it towards left or right. So let's start here with the water waves. When I press this button, you can see the water waves are produced and these are moving away. Basically they move away because they transfer energy as they move from one point to another. So the wave transfer energy by moving from one point to another. This is the top view. If I see the side view, you can see here the waves are produced on the surface of the water. These are moving up and down. You can also change here the amplitude if you want to decrease the amplitude and when you want to increase the frequency. So in this way you can also change the frequency as well as amplitude to see the water waves on the surface of the water. Next I click on the sound. How the sound wave is produced. The sound wave is again produced by the same method. You have to click on this button. The sound is produced here, that is moving away, and it transfers energy from one point to another. This is the top view for the sound wave. You can also see the side view. Both of these are almost similar. You can also slow this wave from here and you can also normal the wave from here. Next is the light wave. How the light wave is produced. So basically when I press on this button, you can see the light is propagating, and when the light moves away, basically it transfers energy from one point to another by moving away from the source of the disturbance. So in this way the waves are produced on the surface of the water. Sound waves are also produced as well as the light waves. You can also change the color from here, like you produce the red waves as well as you can produce the blue waves. It's up to you which kind of waves you want to produce here. Let's go back. Here is the example question. The diagram shows the two water waves P and Q that are traveling at the same speed on the surface of the pond. So basically two waves are shown here, P and Q. Both of these are traveling with the same speed on the surface of the pond. The diagrams are drawn to the same scale. Both of these diagrams are drawn to the same scale. Which wave has the greater amplitude and which wave has the greater frequency? So there are two waves P and Q. You have to tell that which one of the following has the larger amplitude and which one of the following has the larger frequency. First of all, you know about the amplitude and the frequency. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a body from its mean position, and frequency is the total number of waves that are passing through the particular point in 1 second. So basically in the second wave, there are basically the total 3 waves that are passing through the particular point in 1 second. It means that frequency of the second wave, which is Q, it is larger than the frequency of the first wave, which is P, because in the P there are only 2 waves. After that we want to see the amplitude. The amplitude of the P is smaller than the amplitude of the Q. Amplitude is basically the maximum displacement of the body from the mean position. So if I make here the amplitude, in the case of wave P, this is basically the amplitude. In the case of Q, this is basically the amplitude. So for the wave Q, the amplitude is larger as compared to the P, and the frequency of the wave Q is also larger than the P. Let's see the answer and explanation. Here you can see what is meant by the amplitude and the wavelength on this diagram. First of all, the amplitude is basically the maximum displacement of a body from the mean position, and the wavelength is also shown, but we don't need wavelength here. You can see here the definition of the amplitude. Amplitude is the distance from the center to the head of the crest or the tail of the trough. it is clear that the amplitude of the Q is greater than the amplitude of the P. The total number of the full waves that travel through a point in 1 second is basically called as frequency, and it is clear that the frequency of the P is smaller than the frequency of the Q. Means that frequency for the wave Q is larger than the frequency of the wave P. Accordingly, the answer D is correct. Let's go back and see the answer D. In the answer D, it's given that the greater amplitude is for the wave Q and the greater frequency is also for the wave Q. That's why the answer D is correct from here. What is meant by wavefront? Wavefront is basically the line where at each point the disturbance always have the same phase. Means that the disturbance looks the same. In the figure you can see the wave is traveling towards the right, and the wavefront are basically the vertical lines that are shown here. The distance between the wavefront is same, as well as all the wavefronts are vertical. None of the wavefront is horizontal. So the wavefront are basically the lines that looks the same. If the lines are horizontal, they remains the horizontal, and if the lines are parallel, they looks parallel, means that they always remains parallel. So the wavefront is the line where at each point the disturbance has the constant phase, means that the disturbance are always parallel to each other. The direction of the travel of the wave is towards the right, and the wavefronts are vertical. It means that the wavefront is basically perpendicular to the direction of the travel of the wavefront, because in this case the wave is moving towards the right and the wavefront is vertical. There is an angle of 90 degrees between them. So I can simply say that the wavefront is the line that is perpendicular to the direction of the travel of the wave. Here you can see the definition of the wavefront. It is the line where at each point the disturbance always has the constant phase. The wavefront can be expressed by the lines that are always perpendicular to the direction in which the waves are traveling. Perpendicular means that they make the angle of 90 degrees to the direction in which the wave is traveling. The diagram shows how the wavefronts can be visualized. How you can visualize the wavefront is shown by the diagram on the right hand side. The direction of the wave is indicated by the arrow, which is also be called as the ray. The direction in which the wave is traveling is basically represented by the ray. The wavelength is the distance between these wavefront. The wavefront is basically the distance between both of these wavefront. It is between any two of the wavefront. So the wavelength is represented by the symbol lambda. I can simply say that the wavelength is represented by the distance between two consecutive wavefront. You can see here the second point, the wavefront is represented by the distance between each wavefront. The wavelength will be shorter when the wavefronts are closer to each other. What does this mean? If the distance between the wavefront decreases, it means that the wavelength decreases, because the distance between the wavefront decreases. And if the distance between the wavefront increases, the wavefront moves further apart from each other. In this figure, you can see when I increase the distance between the wavefront, the wavelength also increases, because wavelength is the distance between any two wavefront. You can see here the wavelength will be larger when the wavefronts are far apart, means that the distance between the wavefront increase, the wavelength increase. And if the distance between the wavefronts decrease, the wavelength also decrease. Both of these are directly proportional to each other. Here is the exam question that appeared in February-March 2019. The diagram shows a wave before it reflects from a barrier. Which labeled section of the diagram represents a wavefront? So here the 4 points are given, A, B, C and D. You have to show that which one of the labeled section is the wavefront. Wavefront is basically the line that are parallel to each other. So the lines that are drawn here, vertical line, these are basically the wavefront. These lines are basically the wavefront. The A which is shown here, the A represents the arrow which is drawn here. The arrow that is perpendicular to the wavefront, it is basically the direction in which the wave is moving. It is called as the ray. Here A is representing the ray, while the B is representing the wavelength, which is the distance between two consecutive wavefront. The C here is correct because the C is representing the wavefront, and the D is incorrect because the D is showing the barrier. Let's see the answer and explanation. So in this diagram you can see the wavefronts are emitting from the point source, and any line that is perpendicular to the wavefront is basically called as ray, which is showing the direction in which the wave is traveling. So from here answer C is correct. The line at which the disturbance has the same phase at all points is basically called as wavelength. C represents the wavefront, hence the correct answer is C. Let's go back and see the answer C. In the answer C, basically these are the lines that are parallel to each other, and all of these have the same disturbance at each point. Means that the C represents the wavefront.